October 21st, 2021. Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia. Roman Reigns defends the Universal Championship against the alpha male of our species, Brock Lesnar. With the match coming to a climax, Lesnar counters a Reigns spear attempt with a wicked F5. 1, 2, Reigns just kicks out. From here, Roman is sitting in the corner, complaining to the referee about a knee injury. The referee comes over to check on Roman. He calls over a doctor. Meanwhile, Brock Lesnar is irate. The man's fuming. Brock's pacing back and forth before storming over to Roman Reigns in the corner. However, just before Brock can do anything, Paul Heyman lets out a piercing scream. "Brock! Oh my god! Oh my god!" Brock turns around into a thunderous spear from one Bobby Lashley. This absolutely floors Brock Lesnar to the mat. Lashley then quickly rolls out of the ring before the referee can notice him and leaves alongside MVP, who winks at Paul Heyman. From here, Roman Reigns gets up as though nothing was ever wrong and delivers a wicked spear of his own to Brock. 1, 2, 3. And with that, Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship, a crown jewel. From this ending alone, buzz begins emanating around the wrestling fraternity. The Lesnar-Lashley dream match now feels like a probability instead of a vague possibility. The masses are dying to hear how MVP justifies Lashley's actions at Crown Jewel, how Brock will respond to being totally screwed over in his fight against Roman Reigns, and just how the WWE will build up this absolute dream match. And with that, I step in. In this episode of the Elitist books, I bring to you Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, another one of wrestling's last true dream matches, a match with which wrestling fans have fantasized about for years and years now. Today, we bring this to the fore, so let's do it. MVP refuses to comment on Brock Lesnar for weeks on Monday Night Raw, arrogantly dismissing WWE's robotic backstage interviewers consistently. Meanwhile, Brock is nowhere to be seen. At Survivor Series 2021, Bobby Lashley is a part of the men's 5-on-5, throw all the upper mid-carders into the ring and make them pretend to care about brand supremacy, or to put on a good match. Lashley puts on a show, laying waste to SmackDown superstars Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, and Finn Fergal Devitt Balor single-handedly. The match boils down to Raw's Bobby Lashley and SmackDown's newest acquisition, Drew McIntyre. The two go at it for a little bit, then, just as Lashley looks to have the match won, Brock Lesnar's music hits. The Beast comes down the aisle, looking like a total badass. Brock stands at ringside, staring down Lashley, before flipping Lashley the double bird. Alright, this moment goes viral. We see this visual all over Twitter. TMZ is reporting this. ESPN, among other major outlets, share this visual. Viking Brock Lesnar flipping off Bobby Lashley. Absolutely awesome. Lashley then turns around to a Claymore kick from Drew McIntyre. 1, 2, 3. And with that, MVP has an absolute aneurysm at ringside. Lashley, he copes with this by, after the match, grabbing Byron Saxton at commentary, dragging him into the ring, and unloading on Saxton with bare-knuckle punches to vent his anger from being screwed over in this big match. Also, it's worth mentioning here, Brock Lesnar got drafted to Monday Night Raw in the draft. We see out 2021 with Lashley cleaning house on Raw. We get the airing of some Brock Lesnar vignettes as well, and MVP is running his mouth, saying bad things about Brock Lesnar. Then, at the 2022 Royal Rumble, we see a shot of Brock Lesnar's locker room door. The crowd pops. Then, Paul Heyman, the tribal counsel for Roman Reigns, walks into the shot and enters Brock Lesnar's locker room. The crowd pops real loud for that one. It's worth mentioning here that the 2022 Royal Rumble pay-per-view stays the same here as it was in the Roman Reigns and Rock Elitist Books episode, okay? With Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Jey Uso. Meanwhile, in the men's Royal Rumble match, we get a star-studded field, including names like, John Cena, Edge, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and our favourite stars this episode, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, among others. At number 29, Bobby Lashley makes his entrance. He clears house, eliminates several people, he's dominant. Then, at entry number 30, Brock Lesnar's music hits. The arena comes absolutely friggin' unglued. Brock storms down the aisle, accompanied by Paul Heyman. And this, right here, this is the moment. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, face to face. The crowd is going nuts. Brock goes for the takedown on Lashley. Lashley rolls over and unloads on Brock with a flurry of strikes. Brock lifts up Lashley, spears him into the corner before unloading with some shoulder blocks. The crowd is going crazy for this. Ultimately, Drew McIntyre capitalizes on these two being so hell-bent on one another. Drew McIntyre eliminates both of them at once, okay? Drew eliminates the both of them, gets rid of the two beasts there. However, the elimination by Drew would not do anything to stop these two from fighting, as we get an epic brawl at ringside. Dozens of security guards, referees, they're doing their damnedest to try and break this up, but ultimately they fail miserably. At one point, Brock Lesnar picks up a referee, some like 5'4", 155-pound referee. Brock grabs a ref and flings him into the 8th row. This, once again, just like the flipping off visual, goes viral on TMZ. Brock picking up a referee like he's a 4-year-old child and flinging him. I'm not saying Brock flings kids, but you get the point of the visual. Just to provide some clarity, by this stage in the Roman Reigns Bloodline saga, Paul Heyman has lost a ton of trust, particularly with Roman. Heyman is appearing on Raw alongside Brock most weeks to cut his promos and do epic verbal spars with MVP. Then Heyman's showing up on SmackDown to be Roman's tribal counsel. Okay, Roman, who's in the midst of the epic feud with The Rock, makes it known to Paul that he ain't no side chick to be played around with. He's the tribal queen bee in this mofo. Quote Roman Reigns. To make things interesting, add some spice to the drama, Adam Pearce announces a colossal main event of Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley as a tag team versus The Rock and Brock Lesnar for Fastlane. Pearce says, "I don't care how well any of you get along with one another, go and figure it out live on pay-per-view for these fans." The Fastlane main event is a true spectacle of all spectacles. 20 years on from Rock versus Brock, we've got The Rock and Brock Lesnar teaming up with one another in a match. Additionally, we've got the two biggest WWE stars of 2021 in Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley teaming up. Throughout the whole match, Paul Heyman experiences cardiac arrest near enough every time whenever Roman or Brock would get hit or hit one another. This match ends with Roman Reigns saying, "To hell with this," and leaving up the aisleway. Interestingly, Paul Heyman does not accompany Roman Reigns up the aisleway during this process. This leaves Rock and Brock to wear down Bobby Lashley for several minutes. Lashley kicks out of a rock bottom, a people's elbow, an F5. He narrowly escapes the Kimura. Rock and Brock are looking at each other like, what the hell do we have to do to beat this guy? Finally, Rock puts away Lashley with a second rock bottom. Afterwards, Rock cuts a scathing promo on our tribal chief Roman Reigns, shredding Roman for being a poor excuse for a tribal chief and head of the table, supposedly. With another month of epic build, it comes with some epic segments. For one, a UFC-style weigh-in segment with MVP screaming trash talk at Brock while he's on the scales, and Paul Heyman doing the same to Bobby Lashley. As well as that, we get a proper MMA-style press conference between Lashley and Lesnar. Alongside that, we get a couple of Paul Heyman and MVP verbal face-offs, promo back and forths. God, it'd be good. This build is just fun, it's damn cool, and most weeks it makes tuning into Raw feel at least somewhat worthwhile, which is something that Raw has lacked really since it went to 3 hours and back in 2012. Now, the stage is set. At WrestleMania 38, stage set, it's time to deliver. Bobby Lashley makes his entrance first with MVP by his side. Lashley is getting booed loudly. Then, Brock Lesnar's epic music hits, and by God, the crowd erupts. With Paul Heyman by his side, Brock looks absolutely insane. And there it is. We get the epic face-off. Brock and Bobby, AT&T Stadium, with a packed stadium of fans going crazy. The match itself, it's a fun one because, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? This match would span 7 minutes, no more, no less. It'll be similar in nature to Goldberg and Brock from WrestleMania 33, with your barricade spears and the like. Brock Lesnar dominates out of the gate, then Lashley has a run of momentum himself, leaving Brock dead to rights. Then, Brock Lesnar makes his comeback, off the back of a takedown combo, some strikes, and a huge F5. But of course, Lashley kicks out. From here, Brock, he's looking around, he doesn't know what to do. How's he going to beat this man? Lashley, he seemingly can't be beat. Then Brock looks over to the turnbuckles. MVP is then screaming, "Do it, Brock, you're gonna die. Do it, Brock, you're gonna die." Heyman's then screaming, "No, God, no, please, Brock, no." Heyman's screaming. From here, Brock Lesnar has a sick smile. He walks over to the turnbuckles and proceeds to climb the ropes. Okay, Brock, with blood dripping down his face from the fight with Lashley, Brock turns to MVP. As Brock's standing on the top rope, Brock turns to MVP, flips him the double bird, then Brock proceeds to deliver a picture-perfect shooting star press onto Bobby Lashley. MVP's jaw hits the floor, as does 80,000+ people at AT&T Stadium, as does Paul Heyman's jaw. The stadium comes unglued as the shooting star press is hit on Bobby Lashley. 1, 2, 3. And with that, Brock Lesnar overcomes the might of the Almighty at WrestleMania 38. So there you have it. Brock Lesnar defeats Bobby Lashley. And that is the Elitist books, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I sure as hell did with that one. Leave down below what you think of it. Did you like the build? Did you love the match? What did you think of the ending to the match of the shooting star press? No doubt a bunch of you are going to hate that, but it's a fantasy booking. Go do your own. So that's going to be the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and drill.